So in today's class, we shall be doing 3 parts. 1, I'll give an introduction of the whole syllabus. How many questions have come, which all chapters are there, which books to read, everything I'll tell you. Second part of the lecture would be, basically I will be giving you a synopsis. Synopsis means right from 1700, where we are starting, till 1947, every topic, how it will move. It's like a story. Personally, for me, if in history you remember the story, the thing becomes very easy. So if one topic has come, let's say XYZ, after that, why something else is happening, if you have that clarity, it helps you a lot. Along with that, it also helps you in the lectures or questions of chronology. You all would have seen they would give you 3 events and they would ask you, arrange them in an order. So that also would be there. And the third part of today's lecture would be, I shall be beginning with the first topic today. That would be your arrival of Europeans. Am I clear with that?
Yes.
Hopefully, wherever you have issues, you would raise your hands, you would ask me. Even after the class, if you have queries, you can ask me about that also. If you are writing answers, I'll check that also after the class. I'll be giving you mains practice question, not from on the first day, because today's topics are more, introductory and it is more prelims related. But from the second day, that is tomorrow onwards, every topic you would be getting some questions for practice. Am I clear till here? Absolutely no query. I'm starting with the first thing, that is synopsis. For the next 1 hour, slightly you will have to write. Rest of the lectures, you will get the PPT. There would be less writing. Am I clear about this? Synopsis or chronology, whatever you want to say, you can say. How many of you don't understand a single word of Hindi? Anyone in this class who does not understand a single word of Hindi? Okay, no issues. I'll keep this whole in English only, just ask it. See, basically, the first topic that we are going to start, as I said earlier, is arrival of Europeans. This is a completely prelims topic, pure prelims topic. They do not ask you mains question in this. And reason for that, I'll tell you. In mains, it is very clearly written, as far as our syllabus is concerned, that the modern Indian era would be asked in mains. I'll show you the syllabus, you will understand that. So this is a topic because who was the first European to come to India? Portuguese? Basically, this is a wrong answer because I never specified a time period. Who was the first European to come to India, I asked. Had I said who was the first European to come in India in medieval times, then the answer would be Vasco da Gama. There must have been many other Europeans who would have come in ancient times also. Because we are concerned right now with modern, so we are talking about medieval times, and that's why you all are correct. The first one to arrive in India were the Portuguese. And as you all know, after that 4 other people or 4 other nationalities, they arrived in our country. After the Portuguese, the Dutch, Danes, French, English. See, this I have written last because this is going to be our 190 years. The rest all will eclipse. These people would stay here. No doubt about that. These 4 in the last few years are continuously coming in prelims. So the first chapter that we shall begin today in the second half, questions are like, who introduced XYZ things in India? Who gave, for example, this year's prelims question was, who gave Bhatkal to Portuguese? Krishnadev Rai had given it to them. Similarly, they may ask you chronological order of these people. How did they arrive in our country? So all such questions can be asked. It is a factual chapter. It is completely a factual chapter, and that's why I said, and I'll show you that a lot of questions from this are coming in our prelims exam. Am I clear about this? Now think about this. Why did these Europeans come to our country? For business, trade. They needed something which we had and they did not have. But then everybody of you all know that somewhere down the line, business say the whole mentality changed. No more business, but occupation. That they wanted to establish their rule in India. Everybody knows this. Now think about this. If they want to establish their rule in India, whoever was ruling has to be removed. Then only they can start ruling. Na? It's not that before them there was nobody. Who was there at this time? If I say majorly, it is Mughals. Around 1526, Babur arrived in India. I heard that your medieval is not done. Don't worry about that. Hardly 1 or 2 lines I'll use. So you all know Mughals were there. So if these people have to start ruling on India, don't you all think that the Mughals' power should decline? Only when one would get away, the other would come in. Everybody accepts this, no? So our next topic would be decline of Mughals. There must be hundreds of reasons. We have to prepare this second topic for mains. This is a mains topic. Very simple question. Dekho, whatever be the language of the question, the answer would be very simple. Simple question would be, what were the reasons for the decline of Mughal power in India? When we will see, we can look into the reasons. Now all of you think, I said now this is a mains topic, but can I not make a prelims question based on this? That out of the following, which all were the reasons for the decline of Mughal power? A, B, C, D. Are you all getting? So the same topic can be in prelims. It can be changed into mains also. Same topic which is in mains, you can pick up something of that and make it in prelims. Everybody accepts this? So I'll tell you, that's why when we as teachers at the very beginning say na, that this topic is for prelims, this topic is for mains, the idea is that this is more important for particular area. But then it's not that they cannot ask the questions in the other area of. Am I clear? Now, you all have not done medieval, but still you all know Mughals. Everybody has heard about them. I wrote about Babur, 1526. After that, Humayun, Akbar, Jahangir, Shah Jahan, and Aurangzeb. Aurangzeb died in these 6 Mughals. They are known as mighty Mughals, powerful Mughals. But then, you all must have studied that the Mughal rule continued till Bahadur Shah Zafar. Naam suna hai? Have you heard about this? So 1707 till 1857, that is for the next 150 years, there were almost 12, almost, I'm not saying exact number, Mughals who ruled in India. I'll tell you about them, like Bahadur Shah, Jahandar Shah, Farrukh Sher, Muhammad Shah Rangila, Ahmad Shah, Alamgir II, Shah Alam II, Akbar II, Bahadur Shah Zafar. So we shall study one slide about these. Why we are studying this chapter, which I am calling my third chapter as later Mughals. For example, the question will be, I'm just giving you, and again, I'm not teaching you right now, I'm only telling you the synopsis. We will discuss all these topics later. See, on later Mughals, what sort of question can you expect? Question would be, which of the following events happened when XYZ was the ruler of India? And they will give Battle of Palasi, Battle of Buxar, Battle of this, Battle of that. And you will have to select, okay, this battle happened when he was the ruler of India. Am I clear about this? 3 topics. Arrival of Europeans, decline of Mughals, later Mughals. This is one part. Now you all know, when these people declined, their rule began. Everybody accepts? But tell me one thing. Do you think decline of Mughals would have happened in one day? Everybody accepts. See, the good thing is I'm right now in Hyderabad. You people should have been knowing about this because Nizam's rule was here. When Mughals declined, my map is like this only, I'm sorry. Mughals' decline led to the rise of provincial kingdoms. For example, don't write, in South India, Kerala, Karnataka, Mysore, Hyderabad, Marathas, Bengal, Awadh, Jat, Sikh, Rajputs. We all have studied, we know about them. When Mughals declined, the decline was leading to the rise of provincial kingdoms. So, my fourth topic is rise of provincial kingdoms. See, it's like a big political party breaking away and smaller political parties were formed. So, similarly, Mughal rule declined. From Mughal, your Nizam came to Hyderabad and formed his own independent state in Hyderabad. To your south, you had Mysore. Hyder Ali and Tipu Sultan were the rulers over there. To your west, this is your Marathas, in which we shall study about the Peshwas after Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj. You know, how the empire was formed. Dekho, all are kingdoms. Some are empire. Mughal Empire, Maratha Empire, Sikh Empire, Mysore Kingdom. It's not an empire. It was smaller. Bengal Kingdom. It's not an empire. But are you all understanding my fourth topic? Koi doubt nahi hai? Now, fourth topic, no doubt. Dekho, again I am repeating. This is, for the next almost 1.5 hours, it's only a storytelling. You have to be very clear about which all topics and how it is going to move. Ultimately, the rule is of, under Europeans, basically the British or English. So, what do these British have to do? They have to eliminate one by one their rivals. Everybody accepts? So, for example, this is, so here there will be the battle of Palasi and the battle of Buxar, Sikh. So there will be Anglo-Sikh war. This is your Mysore, Anglo-Mysore wars. This is your Maratha, Anglo-Maratha wars. How many of these? See, 1, 2, means counting I am doing. There were 4 Anglo-Mysore wars. So 1 plus 2 plus 4, 6. 3 Anglo-Maratha, 6 plus 3, 9. 2 Anglo-Sikh, 9 plus 2, 11. Guys, everyone, see, this is the rivals who were Indian rivals. But then there were European rivals also. Because in the last slide, we saw 5 of these had come. So the British will also defeat them, which we would study as Carnatic Wars or battle, also known as Anglo-French Wars. These are 3 more. Clear? Hai? Last. Guys, there is one war in which British will not be directly involved. But that is going to be a very, very important war or battle in our history. Many of you would have studied about that. Third Battle of Panipat. Naam suna hai? Panipat. 2015 mains question had come. That why were so many empire-shaking battles taken place at Panipat? So we shall discuss that question and what should be the answer on. I think today is Wednesday. I think next week, Tuesday, we shall reach that place. So we shall discuss that. Am I clear? Everybody, is this chapter clear? This I call battles and treaties. One by one rival, everybody is eliminated. Everybody is clear with this? Absolutely clear. Should I move ahead? Now tell me, who is ruling now on India? If all this has happened, who is now the ruler of India? English? British? Now tell me, why did the British come to India? For trading? And if they have now occupied India or if they are ruling on India, definitely it has got something related to what? So should not we study our next chapter as economic history of India? See, this is a very, very important chapter. Both prelims, this time also the questions came, last time also the questions have come. Continuously the questions keep on coming from this chapter. Think, you all people are from here. The British came, they had to earn money from India. Hai na? You all must have studied about a topic known as drain of wealth. Suna hai na? My money slowly and slowly was taken by the Britishers to their own country. We became poor and they invariably started to become what? Rich with every day. They used my money to fuel their industrial revolution. Everybody has this idea. So the first topic here would be what? Drain of wealth. Think about this. India was at one point of time the richest place. In Hindi, a lot of time people call Sone ki chidiya. Everybody was enamored by our wealth. Why was we so rich? One of the reasons was we would be providing clothes, textile to the whole world. If anybody needs cotton textile, they would come to which place? India. Anybody wants silk? India is a big player. So, think about this. I used a word called industrial revolution. If Britishers are making this, let's say one cloth, whom will they sell? To the world, including India? Don't you think for that it is very important that Indian industries, they get ruined? Hamara barbad ho jayega. When we are ruined, then only they will come to us and sell their goods. So, our second topic here would be deindustrialization. Heard this word? Shashi Tharoor writes in one of his books that before the British arrival, India controlled 25% of the world trade. By the time British left India, we were at 1%. Just imagine what they did to us. We shall see that all here. Now, you all know, in those days, was there income tax like this? Hopefully not. But then, there were some revenue collection methods. You all must have heard about permanent settlement, Rayotwari settlement, and Zamindari is permanent, Mahalwari. Permanent, Rayotwari, Mahalwari. What are these? Why British want to earn revenue. So, revenue collection methods. Now, you sitting in Telangana, so it's easier. You people do a lot of this agriculture of cotton, isn't it? A lot of commercial crops are done here by the farmers. One of the landmark thing about the British rule in India was commercialization of agriculture. See, I live presently in Bangalore for the last 10 years, but I am basically from Bihar. So in my state, for example, they used to have indigo cultivation. In Hindi we call neel. It was used to give blue color to the fabric. Similarly, other areas there would be other like jute. Different crops were cultivated in India. So one another aspect of British commercial rule is, or economic commercialization of agriculture. Okay? Now, not directly, but then everybody, you all will admit, land is limited. Land to utna hi hai. If the shift is happening from food crop to commercial crops, to some extent, the food crop will come down, production. Don't you think this might be a reason for famine? In Hindi we call it akal, shortage of food grains. People were dying. One of the reasons why our population never exponentially grew in those days, unlike 1950 to 1990, when our population was growing like anything. Those days, one of the reasons was famines. One famine, 50 lakh people died. Now just imagine, no, number increase when it comes to population. Now, all of you, do you think every aspect of British rule was bad in our country? Anything good? Everybody knows. So, the good aspect is, let's say, railways, telegraph, which we call as modern means of communication. You people are sitting here preparing for UPSC. This civil services was also something which was started by whom? British. We'll think if we qualify it to be great thing that they started, isn't it? I'll show you in the second half of today's class. This is one chapter if I am in my last day of preparation, supposedly my prelims is on 26th May and I have only time enough to do one chapter, I will do this one. This is the most important chapter, prelims wise also, mains wise also. And trust me, in the second half of today's class, I shall do analysis of all this and I'll show you which area, how important. Am I clear till this point? No doubt about this? I'm not used to do this, so slightly sorry. Now, I said few minutes back that some aspect of British rule was good in our country, and I showed something here. But then, in some other areas also, the Britishers helped us. And that area is socio-religious reforms. Heard about this? Hana? Now, see, I will not give the entire credit to Britishers for this. There were lots of great Indians who did a lot of pioneer work in this field. But if, let's say, a Raja Ram Mohan Roy, heard his name, did some good job, he also had the support of William Bentinck. If Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar is doing good job, there was somebody known as Bethany. Lord Dalhousie wanted girls to get education. So some credit of this would go to British also. So guys, this is the biggest. Anyone has got Bipin Chandra right now? No one has Bipin Chandra? Not a problem. See, I'll show you that some time later. What I'm trying to say is, if you will see your Bipin Chandra, 14 chapters are there. 2 complete chapters are only on this chapter, socio-religious reform movement. This is a very lengthy topic. And this chapter would have lots of names. So hopefully, I'm writing few names. I hope most of you would have heard these names. Like, you must have heard about Raja Ram Mohan Roy. Hai na? Devendranath Tagore, have you heard his name? Devendranath Tagore was the father of Rabindranath Tagore. Similarly, Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar, heard this name? They all are from Bengal. Similarly, you might have heard about Derozio, Henry Vivian Derozio, Ram Krishna Paramhans, and his disciple Swami Vivekananda. See, how I have written here is, I have written the reformers from Bengal, but then there are reformers from other areas also. For example, if I go to Maharashtra, Mahatma Jyotiba Phule, he along with his wife Savitri Bai Phule, they did a lot of work specifically for the upliftment of the downtrodden. Everybody accepts? Guys, later from Maharashtra only you get Baba Saheb Bhimrao Ambedkar. In Kerala, you have Narayan Guru. In Tamil Nadu, you have Periyar, E.V. Ramaswamy Nayakkar, Periyar, or justice movement is also from Tamil Nadu. If you go to North India, you have Dayanand Saraswati. If you go to outsiders like Theosophical Society, if you all observe, area-wise I have divided, and these all are Hindu reform movements. They are reform movements in Muslims, like Sayyid Ahmad Khan. There are reform movements in Parsis, like Dada Bhai Naroji. There are reform movements in Sikh, like Akali movement. This is a chapter that I usually say, and this is something that I always say. In history, one thing that everybody should understand is where to draw a line. Kahan ruk jana chahiye. See, if you go, do a Wikipedia search. Everybody has done hundreds of jobs. If you start mugging up everything, you will never be able to remember. See, I know people when they write answers for the first time, their introductory line will be, Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar, born on this January, this year, to this family. You can do that first day. But do you think you will be able to remember this for so many people after 1.5 years? No. I will make brainstorming. I do something. I'll tell you how and what I do. And I'll get your notes prepared. You will prepare your notes. You will show it to me. But for 1 or 2 classes, I will show you how to prepare the notes. See, after 300 days, you cannot revise 1500 slides. You have to have everything in a concise manner. How to make things concise? Tomorrow, first time I'll show. Day after tomorrow, again I'll show. Maybe I'll do it one more chapter. Rest, you make it, show it to me. That's up to you. I will show you 2-3 times. Am I clear? See, making small notes would be very beneficial in the longer run. Am I clear about that? Basically, this place is almost a watershed. Watershed, you understand? Line that divides. Now tell me, were all the Indians happy with what Britishers were doing? I don't think. Why would everybody be happy? For example, Raja Ram Mohan Roy. You all know he ended Sati with the help of Bentinck. There were some Orthodox Hindus who felt, "Arey, who is this man? Why are the Britishers interfering in Hindu customs?" Some people became angry. Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar, he wanted to have widow remarriage. Think about this. I'm talking about something that happened 168 years ago. Just imagine how much opposition would have been those days, that how can these people interfere in our customs? Along with that, don't you think the people who lost the jobs, they would be angry? They would be angry. These revenue collection methods like in Bihar, UP, this permanent settlement made many people angry. If so many people are dying because of famines, don't you think Indians would be angry? So guys, how do they show the anger? In which form can we Indians show our anger? Revolts? Absolutely. The first point, absolutely correct, that if we Indians are angry, we shall show our anger in the form of revolt. Now this revolt can be a very big revolt. Everybody has heard about this. When we study about this chapter, the first part would be what were the reasons, what were the causes. Bhai kuch hua hai, there must have been some reason behind that. What are the causes of 1857 revolt? Military cause, economic cause, socio-religious cause. Then, if the revolt has happened, something would have happened in the revolt. For example, you must have heard about the leaders of the revolt. Rani Lakshmi Bai, Nana Sahib, Tantia Tope, etc., etc. Centers of the revolt, Jhansi, Kanpur, Lucknow. Leaders of the British side also who would have suppressed this revolt. All that you would have seen. Did we win this revolt? Did Indians win this revolt? No. So there must be some reasons for the failure of the 1857 revolt. Everybody accepts this. If we have lost, there must be some reason. Why did we lose? I'll tell you that. Now, all of you think about this. Such a big revolt, there must have been some change that the Britishers would have brought after this revolt. We shall see result of this 1857 revolt. Everybody accepts this? Last thing. Now, please understand. Last thing you have to understand is, dekho, history is all about perspective. For example, how many of you are science background students? H2O is H2O. Nobody can tomorrow change it and make it H3O. But in history, it is always about perspective. I might say that XYZ was a great leader. You might not agree with me. You might say, no, he was not a great leader. Because this is our interpretation. So, why I'm telling you this? Because in this chapter you will see, I'm giving you one example. One historian will say 1857 was the first national, movement or national revolt. Another will say, no, it is only a sepoy mutiny. Somebody would say, no, only disgruntled rulers, they exhibited their anger. So, Jawaharlal Nehru may see this revolt as different. V.D. Savarkar would see this revolt as a different revolt. Some historian would see it totally in a huge thing. Other would downplay it. Of course, Britishers would say, nothing happened here. Indians would say, no, this was the start of our fight against you. Am I clear? So the last part of this chapter would be analysis. That how do we look at this revolt? Am I clear with this? In my view, one of the most interesting chapter, one of the easiest chapter. You don't have to do anything. Only my request always is that be continuous in the class, in the sense that if you miss out these two chapters, economic history, socio-religious, the problem is you will have trouble in understanding the causes of 1857. Because I will tell you, you have studied permanent settlement. You saw how bad it was. There I'll not explain it again. Getting my point? So if you are continuous in the class, your continuity would be there and you would understand all the aspects. Clear? Now guys, 1857 is one big revolt. Everybody agrees? But then there were smaller revolts also. Maybe in very small area. For example, you must have studied or heard about tribal revolts. Birsa Munda. How many of you are outside Andhra and Telangana here? Everybody is from Andhra or Telangana. Okay. Birsa Munda, for example, if you go to Jharkhand, now he is called Bhagwan Birsa Munda. If you land in Ranchi airport, it is named after Bhagwan Birsa Munda. Tribal Janjatiya Gaurav Divas in Hindi. The government is celebrating it. Similarly, you might have studied or heard about Siddho and Kanu Murmu. They were leading Santhal rebellion. So we shall see tribal revolts. You must have studied or heard about peasant revolts. In your areas, Deccan peasant movement, mainly around Pune and Ahmednagar, but in this cotton belt. In North India, Indigo revolt, Pabna movement. So, let's say, take one name, Pabna. Military revolt, sometimes military personals, they revolted. So, for example, military revolt, one best example would be Vellore mutiny. Lastly, civil revolt. Common public doing the revolt. One best example is Sannyasi uprising. See, in this chapter, or maybe before this also, I will give you a technique which we call as 5W technique. I'll just give you one example. Don't worry, I'll explain it later. Let's think about one peasant movement, Pabna. If tomorrow a question comes, write 150 words about Pabna. In mains, those who are successful, I have written 4 mains, I can tell you. In mains, those who do good. How do they do good? Because they know what they have to write. They don't waste time thinking over there. Because if you are thinking, your time is, going away. So Pabna I saw and my mind will say, okay, start writing Pabna, where? In Bengal. When did it happen? 1817. So where? When? Why did Pabna revolt happen? Who were the leaders of the revolt? And what was the result of the revolt? 5W. You can fit this 5W everywhere. So let's say tomorrow Indigo revolt. When did the Indigo revolt happen? Sorry. Who were the leaders of the Indigo revolt? Where did the revolt happen? Why did the revolt happen? What were the reasons? What were the results of this Indigo revolt? 5W approach will help you in streamlining your answer. So you can always move according to that. I'll give you one more framework. Later you shall see pestle framework. Heard about this? Political, economic, social, technological, legal, environmental. So we can make the causes or the points like this. We shall see that in the practice. Everyone, this place are half of the syllabus ends. Any doubt till this much in understanding? This is, again I'm saying, a story right now. We have to study these in the classes in the next 20 days. Clear hai yahan tak? Hopefully, I don't think I'm using any complicated words in English. I'm being very, very basic. But still, if you have, I'll try to think about something else. Okay? Done. See why I said this is half? Because now starts Congress. You can understand. This is till 1860s, 1870s we are done. And this now leads us to Congress phase. You all know. Congress, when was it formed? And we will study in modern till 1947. You all know Congress phase is usually divided into 3 phases. One is, second is, third is, 3 phases. Your first one is moderate phase. In Hindi we call Naram Panthi. They were moderate in their demands, in their methods, all that. The second one is extremist, and the third one is your Gandhian phase. Everybody agrees? In all this, every time, the first topic will be what were the causes of the growth of moderate nationalism in India? What were the causes of growth of extremist ideology in our country? Everybody, are you getting na? Kuch bhi hua. If anything has happened, there must be some causes behind that. Of course, yahan to Gandhi G hai cause. So Gandhi Ji has come and this phase has begun. Everybody accepts? Once we are done with the causes, we shall see in moderate what were they demanding. But if their phase is happening, they must be demanding something. Like one of the demands, Indianization of civil service. They wanted that in India, Indians should be allowed to participate in civil services. What was happening was they were not letting Indians be a part of civil services. So one of the demands. In those days, exam would happen only in London. So they were demanding, bhai, please conduct the exam in India also. The minimum age was 19. 19 means your attempt is over at the age of 19. They said, bhai, at this moment we Indians have not yet begun the preparation. Please increase the age. So these were the initial demands. There were other demands also. Social demands, military demands, we shall see. Of course, if they have worked, there must be some achievements. They would have got something. They might not have got something. Whatever happened, something would be there. Achievements like Council Act. What it is, I'll tell you. Lastly, you all know. If there are achievements, there might be some failures also. That you did not ask this. Why did you not demand Swaraj? Why did you not demand Poon Swaraj? People will question that, this phase is almost around 1885 to 1905. So people will say in 20 years, what did you do? Moderates will say, we built the base of Congress. This building may be 3-story. The most important thing that is not visible to us is the base, which is inside. They are saying, we built the base. Others would say, no, you took a lot of time. So criticism will be seen there, successes would be seen, all that. Am I clear? Because there were certain failure which led to some sort of criticism of these moderates. It led to the growth of what? What is the major thing that happened in 1905? Absolutely. Division of Bengal. Heard about this? Thoda suna hoga. Division of Bengal was the, point which made the extremists come out, become very, very strong. So again, the first topic of extremist chapter would be what? Causes of the growth of extremist ideology in our country. Again, as he said, the second topic would be division of Bengal. Now, you must have heard about 2 words which is written in front of you, moderates and extremists. So here only we shall study what exactly is the difference between moderate versus. Tomorrow in mains there will be a simple question. Do a comparison between moderates and extremists. These are keywords. Compare, contrast, differentiate. In exam we get this. Tell the differences between these two. Am I clear? Guys, here only, these extremists, in order to protest against this Bengal division, which movement did they begin? It's not about trying. It's good you try. Mistakes is not a problem. Everybody knows Swadeshi. Suna hai na? and boycott. See, these are two words, but the movements are parallel. You boycott the British good, then only you will buy Indian good, na? How would you push for Swadeshi goods when you don't buy British goods? You stop buying their goods, you stop buying Indian made goods. Am I clear? Swadeshi and boycott. Our Prime Minister keeps on talking about Atmanirbhar, self-reliance. For the first time, this call of self-reliance or Atmanirbhar, when was it given? Here. Am I clear about this? Okay? Just for 1 minute. How many of you have a background in history? No one? Okay, one. You are studying or you are done? Done. Okay. How many of you are working professionals? No one. Hopefully on a working day. How many of you are engineers? Okay. Don't laugh. Nothing against them. Okay. How many of you have given this exam earlier? Anyone who has given this exam earlier? No one? Okay. How many of you are planning to give the exam next year, 2025? Okay, most of you. 26? And beyond 26? Only one. Understood. Take. Just wanted to understand. Swadeshi and boycott started around 1905. And slowly, there were differences between these two. And this led to an event which we call as Surat split. In which year? 1907. Surat, it's a place in modern day Gujarat. Those days it was a part of Bombay province. There was no Maharashtra. And there this got divided. Surat division, Congress got divided into two parts. One topic that is related, or we will study here, but not related directly to them. All of you must have heard about the formation of a party called in. It's a topic that we will study here, but is not directly related to this flow. Am I clear? All of you, you can see one thing very clearly. 1885 to 1905. Where did we reach? 1905. Beyond that, we are now around which year? 1907. Okay? Before this phase, before Gandhian phase, there is one class in which we shall study. How many of you have heard about a movement called Gadar movement? Gadar ka naam suna hai, not the movie. Okay. There was a revolutionary movement known as Gadar. Guys, this was a revolutionaries, you understand? I'll tell you what exactly they are or who they were. They were doing a movement in North America. Gadar was a movement which was done in or attempted in North America. Getting my point? This movement was done by our revolutionaries. Of course, it failed, but we shall see why did it fail. We shall do an analysis. We shall do a evaluation of Gadar. Around the time when Gadar was happening, in India, a small movement which later became very popular, must have heard this name, Home Rule League. Heard this name? Who were the leaders who led this movement? Bal Gangadhar Tilak and Annie Besant. These two leaders, they led this movement known as Home Rule League. And the last topic here is Lucknow session or Lucknow. There is pact also here. This took place in 1916, and here the Congress would again get reunited. Am I clear? Congress, which got divided in 1907, would get reunited in 1916. That is your Lucknow session. This is basically the end of first part of Congress. We started Congress from 1885. In the first part, moderates and extremists come, and second part, you all know, that is Gandhi Ji. Gandhi Ji almost comes after 50% syllabus is over, but he will dominate the question paper. He will keep on coming in every form. When I was preparing, I always decided there are two people who can come in any place. One is Gandhi Ji, other is women. Any subject, any paper, they can come. So on Gandhi, as I said, the Gandhian movement, the first thing that we should study is what? Think. What is the first thing that we should study when it comes to Gandhi? See, Gandhi Ji, as I said, comes everywhere. So we shall start him with his personal info. Mother, father, where did he study, what did he do, all that we shall do. Then we shall see Gandhi in South Africa. You all know Gandhi Ji is by profession what he is. Okay, Lunavat. Okay, got it. He's a lawyer by profession. When did Gandhi Ji go to South Africa? 1893. And stayed in South Africa till what period? Gandhi Ji is born when? What I am trying to say is, before Gandhi had basically done anything in India, he was already 45 years old. All of you, if you see, 14 and Gandhi Ji dies in 48. So his career in India is of how long? 34 years. But South Africa is also almost 20 years. You cannot forget about his 20 years of life. There would be questions like which all journals did he start in South Africa? Which all organizations did he become a part of in South Africa? What all did he achieve in South Africa? Gandhi Ji came, when did he arrive in India? Date. You all celebrate that day, that's why I want you to remember. 9th January 1915. Guys, we celebrate this day now as Bharatiya Pravasi Divas, NRI Day. Bharat ka pehla Pravasi, the first NRI of our country has come back. 9th January 1915. Gandhi Ji comes back. As you all know, Gandhi Ji, who is his political guru? Yeah, whoever said is correct. Gokhale. Gopal Krishna Gokhale. On his advice, Gandhi Ji now starts touring all over country. He says, let me understand my people for whom I have to do something or whatever. Once I know my people, then I'll start something big or small, whatever. So Gandhi Ji would be traveling all over the country for next 1 year, and then he starts his 3 small movements. What are the 3 small movements? Sorry? Champaran. Heard this or not? Ahmedabad mill strike. And the last one is Kheda. 3 small movements to test what? These 3 small movements Gandhi Ji did to test his Gandhian methods. What are Gandhian methods? Truth, non-violence, satyagraha, these things that Gandhi Ji preaches, civil disobedience, non-cooperation, all that he would start testing from these areas, this place. Everyone, am I clear till here? Kisi ko koi doubt? Anyone having any doubt till this point? How many of you have heard about something called Rowlatt Act? In 1919, this was a draconian act which was brought by the Britishers. And against this revolt, Gandhi Ji launched his first big movement. See, last 3 which I wrote, Champaran, it is a small place in Bihar. Ahmedabad, Gujarat. Kheda, near Surat in Gujarat. So these 3 are what? Local movements. Gandhi Ji's first all India movement is around this point. That's called your Rowlatt Satyagraha. Gandhi Ji launches his one big movement known as Rowlatt Satyagraha around this point of time. And this is around 6th April 1919 when your All India Strike Day was being celebrated. You all know, after this, which is the major incident that will happen? Guys, from here, we move to Jallianwala Bagh massacre. When did it happen? 13th April. You can see just 7 days later. Because after this strike, a lot of, anarchy had taken place in different areas. And in Punjab, there happened something called Jallianwala Bagh massacre. Heard about this? How many of you have traveled to Amritsar? No one. Okay. So Jallianwala Bagh took place in 1919. Am I clear? Moving beyond this, after some time, within a year, Gandhi G launches his next big movement that's known as non-cooperation movement. Heard this? Suna to hai na? And along with this, there is another movement that Gandhi Ji will be launching. Have you heard about that or not? Let's see. Khilafat movement. Suna hai? I'll tell you who is Khalifa, what is Khilafat after some time. But then Gandhi Ji is launching these two movements. Now just one simple question. Why did Gandhi Ji call off non-cooperation movement? Violence, but where did the violence happen? No, Jallianwala Bagh is already done. No, not Gujarat. Chauri Chaura. Heard this? It's a small village in Uttar Pradesh where some violence happened that's called your Chauri Chaura. In this village, 22 policemen were burnt by the crowd. So Gandhi Ji called off his non-cooperation movement. There is a lull. Lull means nothing is happening for some time. And then a party would be formed called as Swaraj Party. Heard this name? Swaraj Party was formed by Motilal Nehru, father of Jawaharlal Nehru, and your another big name would be C.R. Das, Chittaranjan Das. Now let me tell you, we do not do personality chapter separately. So there will not be a separate class on Motilal Nehru, Jawaharlal Nehru. Throughout the classes which will happen, there only we have to understand, because personality related questions, they keep on coming in our exam. Am I clear about this? No doubt here. Guys, after this there are 5 small topics. Some of you might be knowing about this name. Suna hai na? Simon Commission. Did we love him? Did we were very happy that Simon has come to our country? No. What did we say? We said, Simon, go back. When we protested, the Britishers asked us that make your own constitution. And then we formed a committee known as Nehru Committee. Nehru means Motilal Nehru Committee. I would write Motilal, not the son. Then the Britishers brought something called Deepavali Declaration. And for the first time, we Indians called for Poon Swaraj. Poon Swaraj means complete independence. At which place? Lahore, session of Congress. All these 4 topics, prelims. They have all, I had forgotten. I'll tell you about prelims and mains once again at the last. But these 4 topics, they all have given, except this topic. This has not given a question. Rest, everyone has given 1 or 2 questions in our exam. And I will show you, see, I will do almost 300 prelims questions and more than 80 mains questions with you people. And I will show you prelims, the questions get repeated. Simon Commission, Rowlatt Act, these questions keep on coming again and again in the same way. I will show you that. And you will get the PPT of the PYQs also. So you will have that with you. So you can practice the mains questions, and you can, of course, all the PYQ prelims we will solve in the class, but after every topic. So for example, once I'm done with arrival of Europeans, I will do the questions of arrival of Europeans. Once I'm done with entire socio-religious reform movement, all the questions of socio-religious. Like that, we shall do that. Now everyone, which are the big movements of Gandhi Ji apart from NCM? Dandi March, okay? Dandi March is a part of which movement? Absolutely is correct. Gandhi Ji launches CDM, Civil Disobedience Movement, with the major event called, or the first thing called, Dandi March. See, everybody was making fun of Gandhi Ji. Mr. Gandhi, salt. कुछ नहीं मिला तो अब नमक के लिए करिएगा. Why are you, doing this for salt? But Gandhi Ji knew that outside air and water, if there is one thing which everybody consumes, it's salt. See, we are sitting, I hope everybody's house would have salt. Some people will say sugar, but because of diabetes, sugar is now out of kitchen. Now, in a lot of houses, no sugar. They have come to jaggery, or whatever the substitute might be. What I'm saying is, salt is one thing which everybody consumes. And Gandhi Ji made this his cornerstone of this entire movement. Dandi, it's a small village. I'll tell you that when I'll show you the map. Am I clear? Gandhi Ji, after this movement, was arrested. And the British at this moment organized something called Round Table Conference. Guys, right now you people are sitting here. These 4 people are front benchers. Somebody is at the back bench, so they are back benchers. If you see parliament and all, important people sit in the front. Prime Minister, leader of opposition, the cabinet ministers, etc., etc. The lesser important members, they sit at the back. The whole idea of round table in Hindi is Gol Mej Sammelan. Gol. Everybody is sitting on a round table. So there is nobody who is less important than the other. Everybody is what? Equal. So if somebody is sitting here or somebody is sitting here, they both are equal. That's why what is this conference called? Round Table Conference. And altogether there would be 3 RTCs. There would be 3 round table conference. Congress had not joined the first one. So in order to see what you are right now writing, if you are writing, keep this with you on every day. I hope that's copy you are going to maintain. One of the things that my suggestion would be, whatever you are writing, write on blank pages. Not that line wala page pe mat likhna. Practice on blank pages. Okay? And not today, but tomorrow I'll show you how to make concise notes. So after every chapter, so let's say a chapter is, let's say, 4 or 5 hours. Try to bring out that entire 4 or 5 hours in 1 to 2 pages. Make it as crisp as possible, so that later on in revision, it helps you a lot. That's something that you can do. Coming back to this. So I hope this round table concept is clear. No? Round table. So Congress had not joined the first RTC. So in order to bring Congress there, the government did something called Gandhi-Irwin Pact, in order to convince Gandhi Ji that please come for the second round table conference. And later there was one more, third round table conference also that was done here. Now guys, here there is something called communal award. How many of you have heard about something called this? Communal award. See, just understand, everybody hopefully is 18 years plus here. So you all have voting rights. In those days, voting was dependent on your income qualification. There was a limit. You are earning this much, you can vote. Most of the times, the people who belong to the downtrodden, those who were called in those days untouchables, they would not get the right to vote because economically they would be a bit weaker. So Baba Saheb Bhimrao Ambedkar was continuously demanding that something called separate electorate should be given to the Dalits or depressed classes. And here the government came up with something called communal award, also known as McDonald Award. Gandhi G against this had done a fasting in those days. He was in Yarwada jail. Gandhi Ji went and did the fasting, and later he and Dr. Ambedkar signed something called Pune Pact. Under that, reservation was given to the scheduled caste or depressed classes, untouchables, as Gandhi Ji called them, Harijan. These people much more than their population. Am I clear? This is somewhere, that is, we are around now 1934. 33, 34 we have reached. Now guys, at this moment, we shall do one chapter called Constitution. Just see for a second on the board. British came to India. If they have to rule, they need some rules and regulations. कुछ तो कानून होना चाहिए ना, that how will they rule? So they brought many acts in our country known as Regulating Act. Heard this? An amendment was brought to this in 1781. Then later came Pitt's India Act. This came in 1784, and an amendment was brought to this in 1786. Am I clear? Then came 4 different charter acts. 1793, 1813, 1833, 1853. 20 years. 4 charter acts. See, we will study the charter acts in economic history also. I am writing it here for the first time. Am I clear? Last, means not this year, last year prelims question came from 1833 charter. Okay? Then there would be one GOI Act in 1858, which we would study after 1857 revolt, another in 1861, and 1892, the Council Acts. And finally, something called Morley-Minto reforms in 1909, Montagu-Chelmsford in 1919, and the final GOI Act 1935. Why do we study it together? देखो क्या है ना, in prelims they cannot every year ask simple single question on this. So a lot of time what they are doing, one point they will take from Morley-Minto, another point they will take from Montagu-Chelmsford. So when we study them together, we can see how the rules have developed, how the changes have happened, and this makes this chapter very easy for our prelims. Everybody understand that? So that's why, even though you can see 1773 till 1935 we are doing together all the laws. Before that, 1 or 2 times I'll take the name, but I'll study and we will study that together. Am I clear? Absolutely clear? Last part. In the last slide, you can see the last topic I wrote was GOI Act 1935. Based on this act, very soon there would be elections in India. And this elections will lead to formation of Congress government for the next 28 months. Congress government would be formed in many provinces for the next 28 months at this point of time. Am I clear? Guys, this was formed in 1937, and in 1939 October, Congress governments resigned. I'll tell you why did they resign. Give me 1 minute. Tell me everyone before that, what is the most important thing that happened in the world in 1939? World War II? Everybody knows? Reason is that without asking Congress, government, British government declared that India will be a party to the World War II. So the Congress government, they said, we are resigning because you are not asking us. Why should we be in power? That way we don't have any power actually. You are only keeping us for the namesake. And thus comes your last part. And this is 2 class, almost 5 hours. British, they've started fighting the war. You all know. If you all would know, Hitler was winning the war in the beginning. There was something called Blitzkrieg. There was a word in which, he was winning countries in days. So he had won Holland, Belgium, France, and after France, next was Britain. Now guys, when somebody is on back foot, they need our help. So they gave us something that's called August offer. They said, ye le lo, and in return, give your 100% support. We declined it, and rather we started something called individual satyagraha. In Hindi we call it Vyaktigat Satyagraha. We started this. They needed our help again. They needed more of our help, so they sent another person known as Cripps with his Cripps proposal. So this is known as your Cripps mission. We again decided, no, we are not going to accept this also. And we launched what? Quit India movement. We have launched a big movement that's called your Quit India. In India, Quit India movement is launched by Gandhi G. Outside India, Subhash Chandra Bose has launched Indian National Army, Azad Hind Fauj. So while in India, your Quit India is going on, outside, your Azad Hind Fauj is fighting. INA lost the battle. We will study that later. After losing the battle, their officers had to face the INA trial. That is, court cases were started against them. After this, the British, after a few years, launched another plan called Wavell Plan. Then they launched another plan called Cabinet Mission Plan. Then they launched another plan as Balkan Plan. Another plan as Mountbatten Plan. See, in prelims, a lot of times the question would be, which of the following plan gave this thing? So we have to study all these plans together and know what were the salient aspects of every plan. Am I clear? Around this time only, there was something called Rin Mutiny in India. The Rin means Royal Indian Navy Mutiny. Navy also revolted against the British. And this is the last plan which gave us the Indian independence. Under this only, Indian Independence Act is passed. Am I clear? There are 3-4 topics which we will fit, or in this we have not done, like press. I will not teach you, I will give you a list of writer, books, publisher, newspaper. I cannot teach anything. You will have to mug up a few of them. I'll tell you which all. Very, very important chapter, education. We shall see the chapter on education also. One big chapter which we did not talk about, revolutionaries. Your Bhagat Singh and all, their ideology, we shall speak about revolutionaries also. And the last topic that we have not done is the communists. So these would be 4 topics, single topic, which are not interconnected, which we shall study somewhere while we are doing all the chapters. Am I clear about this? Now, before I get into anything, see this. This is basically an analysis. Slightly the formatting has become here and there. If you all look at this, We started with which chapter? शुरू किया था. Now all of you look at something. 24 till 2011, arrival of Europeans has given how many questions? Everybody can see that. But the most important thing is, out of this 6, what do you see? That arrival of Europeans has become a hot favorite topic of UPSC. Otherwise, why would there be a continuous, shift? Nothing altogether here. And suddenly last 4 years it is a continuous topic. That means, should we study it in a good manner or not? We should focus on this. Other than that, see, I'll show you another thing. See here. Economic history. I told you very important chapter. Now look here. 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Out of 13, 14 years, 8 years questions from this chapter has come. So should we study this nicely or not? Similarly, 14. Acts, the Constitution, 1935, all those. See here, again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 years out of 13 years, you are getting one question minimum from this chapter. And again, you can see here also, there is a pattern. You can see, they are continuously asking questions from this area. It is coming. Similarly, see one more chapter. Which is this? Socio-religious reform movement. 8 questions. 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 2. But then there is a gap. But then there was a time it was very, very favorite topic. Third most important. Third most after this 14, 13, 8 is the third most biggest area. Everybody can see this or not? See, almost all the chapters we have seen. 1 or 2 I have not named, like Delhi Darbar I have not named, Subsidiary Alliance I have not named. I'll tell you that. See here. One question on all of this. You can see these are slightly lesser important topic, but then personalities has given us 6 questions. Separately we will not study, I told you. But when we are studying the history, there only these names would come and you should know about them. Sometimes questions from post-independent India also comes in pre. We shall study that when we are doing PI, post-independence. Am I clear about this? Congress president, once a question had come. So sometimes very obscure topics also can come. Apart from this, this is basically analysis of the questions of prelims. You can see chronology. One question from peasant movement, suddenly 1 year. Congress ministries, only one. A lot of topics you can see are only once in the last 14 years. Why I have taken 2011? The reason is very simple. Our syllabus had changed that year. The syllabus that you are seeing today is something that had come in 2011. Before that, there was a totally different pattern of question papers that used to be there. Am I clear with these 2 slides, everyone? See, this will be given to you. This is just for your own understanding that which chapter is important. Now, I'll tell you one more thing. In English, we have a saying, stats sometime hide more, reveal less. Similarly, because what has happened is, all of you notice here, what I have done, Gandhi, Champaran, Kheda, Rowlatt Satyagraha. I have made this so many topics. Had I written only Gandhi or Gandhian movement, all this would have become one part. Because I have written every topic separately, that's why it is looking like that. Am I clear about this or not? Okay? Absolutely clear? Okay. Education chapter, more for prelims. Last year, one mains question came on Rabindranath Tagore and Mahatma Gandhi. But then that can always be. I said, even though I say that something is of pre, it can be there in other area also. Press, pre, totally pre. Because in press, you only think, there is less chance of having a mains question. These 2 can come both the places. Either in pre or in mains, in both the places you can have them. I will show you question. Revolutionaries, There has been question in prelims also, has been question in mains also. Getting my point? Every topic separately can be a prelims topic. On the whole, there can be these mains question also. Like for example, evaluate the Quit India movement. There was a question in 2012. The 1940s, the independence movement, became very complex, something like that. So there can be a question on the entire topic on mains also. Am I clear? I think every topic here has given prelims questions. I will show you almost 45 questions I will show from this chapter. Every topic has given prelims question. And some have given mains questions also, like Rin Mutiny has given 4 mains questions. In the last 15 years, 3 mains questions on simply this topic. So very important topic from that. More of pre, maybe of mains also. That is a part of that only. Similarly, if you see here, this entire chapter I showed you 13 questions. Almost 33 has come recently. Regulating has not come. Pitt's India Act has come. Morley Minto, Montagu Chelmsford, GOI, all have come. This has come in mains also. For example, I'm not sure if your polity is done or not. In polity, when the teacher is teaching you constitution, they will invariably tell you that half of our constitution is borrowed from GOI Act 1935. And in paper 2 also, GOI Act 1935 has given you mains question. So that's a very important area for mains also. Similarly, this has given you prelims question. I already said all these are pre-topics. Dandi is pre, CDM can be both pre and mains. Communal award has come both in pre and mains. See, what used to happen is before, I think till 2012, in 2012 mains, that was the last time mains had questions related to 2 mark. 2 mark, 5 mark, 10 mark, 15, 30, like that. After that, it is either 10, 12.5 or 15. But then earlier there would be write in 50 words, short note on communal award. 50 words only, 5 marks. So like that also mains questions have come earlier. So you can keep this in mind. I hope my first part, which I had to do, is absolutely clear with you all. Anyone having any doubt? Anybody having any doubt with this, what I call as synopsis or chronology? If you know this, your life becomes very easy for the next 20 days. In our next 20 days, whatever topics we are studying, you would have this idea how the things are moving. Am I clear? I'm starting with the second part now. As I said, today we were going to do 3 topics. One I had done synopsis. Second part I have just started. I showed you the question distributions from different chapter. Next part is half an hour. Half an hour about the importance of the subject, books, any other thing. If you have any query, you can always ask me and I'll show you question division pattern. In the next 20 days, we are going to do modern history and post-independence. Your history portion, as you all know, comes in your prelims, comes in your mains, even in your interview. How many of you have history as your optional? Congratulations. Good. That's, it's equivalent to 3 sociology, if I say it like that. But then, unfortunately, even then also you will have to study history, even for your interviews. See, when I went to the interview, my optional was geography. Even then I was asked about history questions. So it's not that they cannot ask you questions in personality test. They can ask you questions in personality test also on history. So in all the 3 stages it will be there. Apart from that, always you can understand essay, history, the first paragraph, historical context has to be there. Any topic. Let's say there is a simple essay topic, condition of women. Invariably, you will write about the ancient time, then you will tell how in medieval times the situation deteriorated, then you will come to present times and all that. If there is a topic on Gandhi G, invariably you will write about history. Anything, if there is a topic on environmental movements, Chipko Andolan, that's your post-independence area. Getting my point? So history would be there. And certain areas like social issues, even in questions on society, history would be helpful. There is no doubt about that. Am I clear? Now, from history and from UPSC's perspective, what we have done is we have divided history in 6 parts: ancient, medieval, modern, post-independence, art and culture, and world history. These are the 6 areas in which we have divided our history. What I will do is, if you all see here, our prelims syllabus, as far as history is concerned, is of 1 line. History of India and Indian national movement. If you all ever have seen the syllabus of prelims, this is our syllabus. Look at this. Tell me one thing. If they would not have written these 3 words, if in syllabus only history of India would have been written, would you have studied Indian national movement or not? Because it's a part of Indian history, Indian national movement. Then tell me, why does UPSC write these 3 words separately? What is the logic that UPSC is writing this 3 separately also? By writing this separately, UPSC is giving us an idea that even though the focus would be on history of India, Indian national movement would be the most important area. Number 2, all of you can see clearly, UPSC is telling us in prelims, world history will not come. Because they have clearly written what? History of India. So, this is cut. Anything that is concerning world history will not come in your prelims. Am I clear? Now, history of India, ancient, medieval, modern, of course, art and culture, and I showed you 1 or 2 times post-independent question also comes. See, it is the greatness of history teachers that we give something to other subjects. Otherwise, everything is history. If your internal security teacher comes and says Khalistan movement, it's a part of history. IR teacher comes, Nehruvian foreign policy, it's a part of history. Polity teacher comes and says constitution, part of history. Your economics teacher comes and says green revolution, part of history. Your geography teacher teaches anything regarding land reforms, part of history. It's my greatness that I have given them something to teach. Getting my point? So what I'm trying to say is, post-independent India question that comes, every teacher takes. So that's why otherwise everybody can claim everything is what? Post-independence. Am I clear with this part? Now all of you, I will come to main syllabus and then again I'll come back to this. For a second, I'm jumping 2-3 slides. This is your main syllabus. 4 lines, or rather 5. First line is what? Indian culture. है ना? Second line, modern India. Third line is also a part of that only, freedom struggle. Fifth line is history of the world. Everybody agrees? So for a second, I'm again going back 3 slides. Means everybody, world history, art and culture, post-independent. These 4 lines are clearly written that they will be asked in your mains. The first 2 directly will not come, but indirectly can come. Getting my point? They have not written, but art and culture, Jahangir will come, or Shah Jahan would come. You would know about them, but directly they are not written over here. Am I clear about this? Is this thing clear? Now everyone, I'll also do one thing called priority. I'll show you something. For example, let's look at pre. This is pre. and I've taken from 16. 17 questions came in history. 14, 21, 15, 20, 19, 16, 16, 12, like this. So many questions have come. On an average, if you see, this year was the lowest. You all can see. Highest is, before that, the lowest was 14. This year is the lowest, 12. But on an average, I can say around 15 to 20 questions come from history. Okay? And out of that, I have already shown you this too. Look at this. This is the division of, or this is the contribution of modern history in history. Of late, last 3 years has gone down. Otherwise, 50% of your questions of history would be from modern. You can see here, 9, 9, even 11 it had gone, 8, 11, 10. 50% would be modern, 50% would be rest of the areas. Am I clear? So if I have to do something called, what I call as priority, you all can see, modern is always the number one priority. Comes both in pre as well as mains. And I'll show you one more thing. Mains also I'll show you. Art and culture is the second priority. Both comes in pre and mains, and sometimes I will show you within a minute, is more dominating than even modern when it comes to your exam. Third is your ancient. Fourth, you can take world or medieval. And fifth is your post-independent. Now some of you may have this, that how did I decide this priority? I'll show you one last. Look at this. This is your division of PYQ as far as your mains is concerned. Everyone, let's look at post-independence first. See here. Six years, 0 question. One question, one, half question. Means half was modern, half was post-independence. Everyone, if you all look at this slide, if I forget this 45 of post-independence, reality is, in 10 years, hardly 47 marks of post-independence has come. If you subtract that 45. Everyone, this was the year when main syllabus last time was changed. First paper, maybe the question paper or question setter did not have idea which area he had to give priority. So it was very different. After that, you can see the pattern has continued. Maximum one question in post-independence. So can I say post-independence is the least priority? Similarly, if you all look at world history, everyone, I'll start from this side. Three years, 0 question. And then if it's not 0, look at here. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 4. Again, in the first 2-3 years, there were more questions. After that, you can see a pattern. Maximum 1 or 0. Should I do a PhD on world history if only one question has to come? I should only rely on whatever is taught in the class and hope usse aa jayega, otherwise theek hai, dekh jayenge. That's how it is. Why should people spend a lot of time studying 3 books and getting what? 5 marks? Because out of 10, maximum you will get is 5 or 6. Why should you waste your 1 month on world history to get 5 marks? In that period, I can do much more. 1 month if I give on essay, I can easily get 30 more marks in essay. If I give 1 month totally on my optional, I would invariably get more than 40 marks in optional. Think about this. Isn't it? Am I clear about this? Now everyone, look at culture and modern. Last thing that I am doing. Everyone, just for a second, observe one thing. 24, the exam has not happened, so 24 is not there. Look at this year. Which is more? Culture? Look at this 22. Which is more? Culture? Look at 20. Which is more? Look at 14. Which is more? Are you understanding? Some years, questions of culture dominate even modern. My suggestion, never ever leave culture questions. You all know, na, our mains copy, it's booklet type. Question is written, below only the space is given. So, more or less times what would happen is culture questions are the first few questions. And first few questions, trust me, create the impression. If you are writing 20 answers, think about the invigilator, the evaluator. He has to check 15 copies per day. And everybody would be writing, Gandhi G was great. What is new in anybody's answer? So for him or her to be really excited by your answers that, oh, this is a good student, he should get or she should get slightly more marks than another, you should have something special. Maybe a map, maybe a flow chart in your answers. Getting my point? Your handwriting, your structure. Because see, everybody writes. Right now I give you something, you will all write something. But ultimately what differentiates? Differentiating factor is ultimately your presentation. How do you present your answer? Am I clear about this? Was I clear with the priority, everything absolutely clear? Any doubt till here? I'm only left with one portion. Other than that, I'm done with this introductory thing. Anything that comes to your mind. See, what books some of you might be having in your mind. See, there are many books available in the market. Which books do you have? Spectrum? Anyone who is not having Spectrum but any other book? Okay. See, Spectrum is a good book. The only problem with Spectrum is that, when your Spectrum today would be this thick. When we were studying, Spectrum was this thick. I don't think in 10 years so much of history has happened. But what they do is, they keep on, revising their book. And they keep on adding many extra things. So when you are studying Spectrum, I don't have a problem. Only thing is, you should understand what to leave. A lot of time, unnecessary depth is also there when it comes to Spectrum. Getting my point? So that is something that you should always be understanding. So if you have, because show me your Spectrum, most probably your first 2 chapters you can easily leave in Spectrum and some other chapters. I don't know, because editions would be different. Somebody would have 5th edition, somebody would have 6th edition. So I don't know exactly which edition do you have. But if you will show me, most probably the first 2 chapters usually are something that's not needed. And then apart from that, if you are doing from the PPT, you will already see that most of the Spectrum, Bipin Chandra, everything is there in PPT. Am I clear? See, apart from this, there are 2 NCERTs. See, this is the one Bipin Chandra. If you all have seen this book, this is one Bipin Chandra. There is one other Bipin Chandra also. This Bipin Chandra starts with decline of Mughals. Other Bipin Chandra starts with 1857 revolt onwards. My suggestion always is, whichever book you are doing, complete that book, then only go for the second book. Do not jump one chapter from this book, one chapter from that book. It's not something that's needed. These are your 2 NCERTs, which if you have the time, somebody who is preparing for 2026 should definitely read the NCERT. If somebody is preparing for 2025, I don't know at what stage of preparation you are. If somebody says that, see, I've already completed most of the areas, please go in your NCERT. If somebody says, no, I have just started, leave the NCERTs now. It depends on which stage of preparation you are there. Am I clear about that? But these are the books that you have as far as your, this modern India is concerned. Am I clear about this? See, post-independent, this slide we'll do when we are starting with post-independence. Hardly 6-7 hours of post-independence. As I showed you, hardly anything comes. And there are only 2 topics. And just because we are here, you can see post-independence has got only 2 topics. And the good thing again, being in Hyderabad, it's easier. First is post-independence consolidation. At the time of independence, Hyderabad was a princely state. So how was it integrated with India? That would be your post-independence consolidation, where we will study the integration of princely states with us. Second topic, reorganization within the country. before what happened to Jammu and Kashmir and what will happen to Kashmir, the last reorganization was your state, Andhra and Telangana. How did this state get bifurcated and become two states? And throughout our history, right from 1947 till 2024, there was a commission called Dhar Commission. Then JVP, Fazal Ali and all that. We shall study all those commissions. We shall see all the states that have been formed, why they have been formed, all that we shall be looking into this. Am I clear? Very small area. But then I would teach some more topics here. Maybe Green Revolution I will teach. I will ask you there. Means if that would not have been covered in your geography or economics, I'll cover that. I'll try to cover wars, all the four, 48, 65, 62 and even your 99 Kargil. I would try to definitely do the political parties of India. This year's prelims question came on that topic. So I will show you, I will do some topics, and of course when I'll be there, I'll talk to you which all topics do you want. Because as I said, post-independence is a huge ocean. We'll have to select our topics. Am I clear? If you want some topic to be done, more than happy to do for you. Just inform me so that if I don't have the PPT, I'll create the PPT and bring it for you. Am I clear? Our first topic. Already said for prelims. Now, do you get the PPTs? You people get the PPTs? Okay. Now, only thing is, because you are sitting in the classroom, in the PPTs, when I have made these PPTs, you will see some things are in red font. I'll show you. I'll make you understand. And this will be consistent throughout the 20 classes. If there is anything in red font, for example, leave that. For example, see this slide. In this slide, you can see certain words like Mongol, Timurid, Ottoman, Tughlaq, these are in red font. If there is something in red font, clearly the prelims focus would be on those areas. I'll keep on telling you this, but in the beginning only I have stated this, that agar red mein hai, if it's in red font, their focus can be on these things only. And in the PPT, everything is written. If you don't want to jot down, no issues. I don't have a problem. I always want you to understand it right now. Later on at home, if you want, you can do whatever you want. Okay? So, everyone, let me go back. If you see this picture, this is a normal picture that I have taken just as a, introductory picture of this topic. Tell me one thing. If I see this picture, certain things come to my mind. My first thing that comes to my mind is that the outsiders who arrived in India, they arrived via, everybody accepts this? Those who had come to our country, they were coming through these ships. And the people who were already here, they were not entirely happy with new outsiders coming. You can see this cannon. Why this is happening? Because nobody wants competition. Unfortunately, that happens everywhere. But everybody wants to eliminate the competition. Any challenger, whoever is coming from outside, if they don't come, what would happen? Whoever is inside, they would have something called monopoly. In Hindi, we call a word called ekadhikar. Ek adhikar. That is, I would be the only one having entire monopoly, mono and poly, over this entire thing. So the outsiders were never ever happy with regards to, the insiders were never happy that there were more competitions coming from outside. Am I clear about this? You can see this building. This building symbolizes a colonial building. I'm not sure how many of you, if you have ever gone to Pondicherry, Madras, in those areas you will see these buildings which were made by these outsiders. A lot of time they have used the term called factory. There is a word called factory. I'll show you a picture later on for these buildings. Factory would be a place where, their administrative headquarters or, business and all that would be taking place. So I told you at the very beginning, again I'm repeating this question. I had started this question at the very beginning. Who was the first European to arrive in India? Again, I'm saying, had I used the word medieval, Portuguese would have been correct. So, because I have not stated this word, and I'm just giving you in ancient, you might have studied about Alexander. This is not my syllabus. But you all know, I'm just to clarify again and again. Look at the question. What exactly they are asking. If they are asking about medieval, then only go for Portuguese or Vasco da Gama and all. If they haven't used that word, you cannot go on them. Was Alexander the first to come to our country? Maybe before him also anybody would have come. But he was one of the first prominent person to come to our country. And I hope in ancient you would have been taught that why he couldn't establish an empire in India. There were many reasons. His soldiers were tired. India having tropical climate, there was Mediterranean climate. Tropical diseases. Of course, the mighty Nanda Empire, he getting defeated at the hands of Porus. There were so many causes, and we are not perturbed about that. This is an example slide to give you an idea that even during medieval times, when these people came, before that, the world knew about India. World absolutely knew about India. Nobody has got Bipin Chandra by mistake also. Do they have outside? Will they be having it outside? No chance. Okay. I'll bring the e-copy. There is a page in Bipin Chandra, page number 42 of Bipin Chandra. On that, it's clearly stated which country got what from India and what did India get from that country. So if Arabia, what did we get from Singapore? What did we get from China, from Europe, from different countries? What were we bringing? What was, our trade with everyone? So now if you all understand, there were 3 routes in those days through which India was doing trade with other people. Wait for a minute, I'll come back to this slide. Look at this picture. This is clear? First route was this is your Persian Gulf. Know about this? I'm writing here. So usually what would happen is Arab travelers, Arab people, they would come from these areas. They would take Indian goods from South India, and via this route they would come to present modern day Turkey. Here it would go on land, and again via land through sea and all, it would reach Europe. One route. Second route was Red Sea route. Second is, please remember, there was no Suez Canal in those days. Suez Canal is just 100 years old around. So in those days, again, the goods would reach here, would be unloaded on land, Alexandria. Again, from land it would move, and then water, and again it would reach to these areas. Am I clear? Second route. And the third route used to be, this is your completely land route. Getting my point? But then please understand, this land route, goes through our present day Pakistan. You can see, then it would enter into Afghanistan, then to Central Asia, via Central Asia into Eastern Europe, and then would reach Western Europe. If anyone has idea, this route is not that easy route. It's a very tough route. So very less used route, which is the 2 most important and the most readily used routes. The 2 sea routes, where most of the time this part, Asian part, was handled by Arab travelers. Arabs would take goods from India, would take it to Arab. From there it would reach to the Europeans. Am I clear? Are the 3 routes clear, guys? Now please hear only, because I am on this, so let me show you. For our interest, 2 countries are here. Hopefully this is visible. One is Spain, and the smaller one is Portugal. Both of them are Western European country. You can see on the map. On the Europe's map, these two are on the western side. Western European country. And usually, as you can see, the goods would be reaching where? From this to Italy. Genoa and all those days, Italy was divided into many states. So what happened was, on the business, who has the command? Asian side, Arab, European side, Italian traders. So you can understand these countries, they are having problems. Koi doubt nahi hai. Now the problem is here that I told you, why did these British or any European come to have trade with us? Why did they do trading with us? 3G. God, gold, glory. Easiest is gold. Gold means trade. They used to buy goods from us or sell goods to us. For example, I'll give you one simple point. Spices, masala. The British or Europeans, they required what from us? Spices. Why did they have so much spices? See, for the simple reason that the European climate is a very cold, harsh climate. In the winters, nothing would grow. So they would use a lot of spices in order to preserve their food. So spices would be required so that the food could be preserved for the harsh winters. Nothing would grow. No, people would be not able to go outside. So whatever they have stored, they would survive on that. So the second item, gold, is trade. They would buy spices from us. I told you. Textile. They would buy clothes from us. Of course, they would sell also some items, but these things they would be doing. Am I clear? God. What is God? India in 15th century is mainly a Hindu country. There are some Muslims. There are some Buddhists. There are some Jews. Christianity is very limited. So they want to propagate Christianity in India. These countries are what? Christian countries. So the Pope is asking them, go to India, travel to India, propagate Christianity, convert the people as much as possible. We'll study about St. Francis Xavier in the next class. So everybody, are you understanding God? What is God? Propagation of Christianity. Okay? Third point is glory. Everybody wants to be the first one to do this. Others, before they do, if I come, I can monopolize the things. I can take everything in my grasp. Otherwise, that thing would not be in my hands. Am I clear? All the 3 points, God, glory and gold, why these Europeans are coming to our country. If anybody has geography as your optional, you would study about Ptolemy. He is one of the first person to make a map of the world. This is before the age of exploration. In those days, Europeans used to think that world is flat. If you go to the extremes, what will happen? You will fall. So people would not dare to go in the extreme sides. What we call, they were in the age of darkness. Then came, you must have studied or you must have heard about a word called Renaissance, which is literally rebirth. Science started to come up. Many people started to say, no, world is not flat. Rather, if you go like this, you would reach to your original position. The world is elliptical. It's not flat. Some people discovered this. That's why, though we don't have to study about this man, you must have heard about Christopher Columbus. Suna hai na? Why is Columbus going in the western direction? Because he had this conviction that I will come back to my position only. So Columbus is going towards, and I can show you in the map itself. See here. He is starting from here and going in this direction. Because he hoped that one place he would have the that turn and he would be reaching which place? India. He thought America is India only. He was very happy, discovered Indians, got red Indians, did not get us. But then he had gone in the western direction. But who is the person who comes to us first? By photo it does not appear that he would have come, but he only came. Name is Vasco da Gama. He is the Portuguese man who arrived in India. Now here, always remember, he arrived India circumnavigating Africa. I'll tell you this, what exactly I am trying to say here. See, Portuguese rulers, let's say I'm the ruler, they started encouraging their people that go and search for new routes. Give me 1 minute, I will tell you why new route. But everybody was asked that please go. So for example, he was the first person. He started from Portugal, reached here, went back. Informed that see, for this much kilometer, no Indian route. Then the next person would go. He reached till here. Went back by till here. I did not get anything. Like this, so many trial and errors happened, and then finally somebody reached Cape of Good Hope. Who is this man? Sorry, yaar bolna to hoga. There is a person called Bartholomew Diaz. He is the first person to reach this place. But then he named this place as Cape of Storms because यहाँ पे तूफान बहुत आता था. There were too many storms that used to come, so he named it as Cape of Storms. Later, the King of Portugal renamed this place as Cape of Good Hope. You can understand, good hope, that tomorrow it may bring better luck to the next round of whoever is going to explore this area. Am I clear? So here, if the question is who discovered this place, the answer would be Bartholomew Diaz. Did he name it Cape of Good Hope? No. Who named it? The king. Portuguese king has given that name. He had given it the name of Cape of Storms. Just give me 1 second. I'll show it to you. There are 3 names. See here. This is your Bartholomew Diaz. A lot of times Portuguese names would be tough to remember. Bartholomew. I'm very happy with B. Diaz. If you are having a problem in remembering the full name, remember Diaz. Because remember, prelims is an exam of recall. Dikha yaad aa gaya. Who is asking you to remember the whole name? Remember Diaz. It's more than sufficient. Am I clear? He was the original king who would encourage everyone. You can see he was given the title of navigator. He was given this title that you are the person who is going to navigate. Of course, the third name is Pedro Alvarez Cabral. Iska naam suna hai? He came to India also, but he is more famous for discovering Brazil. He is the discoverer of Brazil. So always remember Pedro Alvarez Cabral, discoverer of Brazil. And story I have already told you, it's written. Diaz gave the original name, named this Cape of Good Hope as Cape of Storms. Renamed as Cape of Good Hope by whom? King John II, because it represents better luck for the future people. Am I clear? Any doubt? Absolutely clear? Guys, you have a minute. Any query if you have till this point. Any one of you. मेरे से पूछो, मेरे से बात करो. बहुत मन लगता है बात करने में मेरे को. I don't have a problem. See, again, I'll tell you one thing. I always insist. It's you people who have given the money. It's you who has to extract that money. आप नहीं पूछिएगा, मेरी life बहुत easy रहेगी. So if you have any query, please ask me. I'm more than willing to answer your queries. Okay? Hopefully this much is very easy. कोई doubt है? उसको doubt है, तुम बता रहे हो यार, दोस्ती यही होनी चाहिए. उसके मन की बात हम समझ लें. Good. See, no, he went, see, that era was the era of discoveries. A lot of these people, see what happened was, I'll tell you, around 1494, around this area time, The Pope you understand, na? The head of the Christians. The Pope divided the world into two halves. Let's say this is your world. So he divided the world by an imaginary line. This side he said Spaniards would go, and this side he said Portugal people would go. This is known as Treaty of Tordesillas. I'm writing, it's not written. If you want, you can write Treaty of Tordesillas. See, you all can understand why Pope is dividing the world, because he does not want his own people to fight. So he has divided it between these two. Bhai, ek aap udhar jao, ek idhar jao. And these both the areas are for the newer world. Discover them, bring your religion, bring your countries, hold on them. But later this treaty had broken. Spain and Portugal had a clash, and that's why this treaty got broken, and Portuguese, they started to move towards Western world also. See, in fact, I'll tell you one thing, though I have to tell it in the next half. One of the reasons why Portuguese lost interest in India was discovery of Brazil. Brazil was, you can understand, very big country, rich of lots of resources, and that's why Portuguese took more interest in Brazil rather than interest in Goa, that was in India. Am I clear about this? Now guys, only one thing, and then we'll go for a break. I think 9:30 to 11:30 is your first class, and then 2:30. Let me just complete one more thing and then we'll go for the break. What happens here is, one query that nobody till now has asked is, and again I'm showing you the map and then I'll ask you, look at this map. If already 1, 2, 3 routes are existing, why is there a need of a fourth route which is totally sea oriented or via sea, not to give access to others? Okay, that is one. Okay, any other point? No dependence? That is correct. Absolutely, these are valid aspects. Why should I be dependent? If, see, spices are very important for my life. If somebody blocks the route, what would happen? And that happened. Basically, in 1453, Muslim rulers, they won this area which is present-day Turkey, Constantinople or present-day Turkey. And they started blocking these routes for the Westerners. So they were very much dependent on King Mehmed II, who has now got access over this land. So anything that has to move towards this side needs whose permission? Because everyone, remember, I already told you this route is less used route. Which are the two most used routes? 1 and 2. So once you are blocking this area, don't you think this entire people, they are dependent on this one man for their survival? So they started to think that let us have another alternative route which in no way is dependent on these people. Am I clear? So the thing is, 1453, as I said, Constantinople, just a second, had fallen. See here, leave that. Now the new king is this man, Mehmed II. As you can see, he is a Ottoman Turkish Sultan. And he started blocking these trade routes. Everyone, there is a new word called, do you understand Orient? Orient means Eastern world. India, China, Korea, Japan, we are the Eastern world countries. So Oriental, whenever you listen this, Oriental art, Oriental world, it reflects these countries. Am I clear about this? So you can see these trade routes were being blocked by this man. And that's why they started discovering, or they were looking for a newer route. So they started looking for this all sea route. Initially, Portuguese used that, came to India. Following Portuguese, other people like Dutch, Danes, English, they all started to arrive in India. Am I clear about that? Absolutely clear. So you can see here, who all are the contenders? I have named them. All these would be using this all sea route. Most important item that they would be needing is, though there are other products also like textiles, etc., which we shall see, but they are looking for all these. So we shall stop here. I hope this is clear. Your Bipin Chandra states one line. How many of you believe this? How many of you have heard the name of Adam Smith? Father of economics. Your Bipin Chandra's statement, the two greatest and the most important events recorded in the history of mankind, according to Adam Smith, one is discovery of America and another is Cape Route to India. See, for us, we don't study America. In American Revolution, world history, slightly, 5 minutes somebody will tell you. But then, American discovery is a very big and important discovery, though not a part of your syllabus. But let me make you understand. How many of you have or have the idea of triangular trade? North America, Europe, Africa. These three used to have something called, triangular trade. See here. Europeans would come with their money, would come to where? Africa. Would buy what? Slaves. Would take those slaves to which place? Northern America. Why? Because these slaves are needed in plantations, mines, where these slaves would be sold. Am I clear? After selling them, they would buy American products like plantation goods, and they would take that to where? Europe, where they would sell those goods, would earn money, would take that money, come to which place? Africa, buy slaves, sell them in America, buy the goods. So American discovery was a huge discovery in those days. Of course, for our exam, that's not that important topic. Am I clear about this? Absolutely